Hello everyone. So today we would be discussing as to how you can draft a cover letter if you are aiming for a journal submission. So drafting a cover letter is important if you are planning for a journal submission, because by reading the cover letter, the editor would understand what sort of work that you have done, and you have created a sort of an impression on the editor, so that hopefully the editor might not feel like disrejecting your um, journal paper. So let's put it in that manner. So first of all, I am going to share a particular template which you can use when you are drafting your cover letter. There are no hard and fast rule as to this is the exact cover letter that you have to use. It's more like if you are using this particular cover letter, almost all of the things that normally should be included in a cover letter would get automatically covered if your content includes all this particular information. So let me share the template with you now. All right, this is the sample cover letter, the particular template that you can take use of when you're drafting your cover letter. So first of all, you have to give your name. That means the publication name that you're using, what's your affiliation, and the address associated with the affiliation you have to include. And make sure that you have included the date also. And starting from year, after that, you have to specifically mention the name of the editor. I know in certain cases, especially early career researchers like us, we tend to like just mention only dear respected editor. Please don't do that, because for each of the journal, there's a specific editor, and that particular editor has a name. So you have to do your background work as to who is the editor of the journal that you are planning on doing the submission. So how you can find the editor in a particular journal, it's very easy. It's not that difficult. You just have to go to the journal web page, and there in the home page most of the time uh, the editor's details are given. For example, let me share the screen with you. If it is this Quality and Quantity journal, one of the top ranked journals that we have, there when you go to the web page of Quality and Quantity, the editorial board information is given in the particular web page. So you can see editor-in-chief is Han-Woo Park. So when you are like drafting your cover letter, if you are planning on doing the submission to the Quality and Quantity journal, you have to mention Dear Professor Han-Woo Park. If it is a journal like Journal of Cleaner Production, there also when you go into the journal homepage, you can go to the editorial board here into your left hand side. Under this tab, you have the editorial board. So here there are co-editors in chief. So make sure that you have read this particular information if you are planning to like submit a paper to Journal of Cleaner Production, because there are two editors. If you are planning for a review article, if your submission is going as a review article, you have to particularly pick that particular editor's name. And if it is just an original article, you have to like pick the correct editor's name. I hope what I'm telling is clear for everyone, right? So you need to make sure that you have done your background work when you're drafting your cover letter. So make sure that the editor's name is given. What is the specific name of the editor? Then you can express your interest. We wish to, or if it is only you, if there's only a single author, I wish to submit an original research article entitled the name of the article. So if it is an original research article, you can mention original research article. If it is a review article, you can mention that accordingly for consideration by the particular journal name, right? Then IOV confirm that this work is original and has not been published elsewhere. No, it is currently under consideration for publication elsewhere. So this is a very important point that you have to mention in your cover letter, because if your paper has been published elsewhere, it is unethical for you to publish it in another journal, as well as if it is under consideration in another journal, that should not be submitted to any other journal. That's not ethical. And you have to like in the second para, maybe you can like mention in this paper what have you done? In this paper, we report on the current research state of carbon disclosures. So on what's actually like what have you done in your paper, you have to mention. So then you have to mention as to why it is significant, how your papers stand out in the rest of the among the rest of the research articles. It's more like how you differentiate yourself. What is the significance with regards to your paper? Is it the methodology? Is it the selected empirical context that you have like conduct your research? What is the significance? And then you can mention, we believe that this manuscript is appropriate for publication by the journal name that you have mentioned earlier, the journal that you are planning to like submit your journal, because it make sure in the journal that you have like the journal that you have selected in order to like submit the your drafted paper, whether it matches the aims and scope of that particular journal. If not, it would get most of the time rejected if the aims and scope of the journal is not matching with the aims and scope of your paper. For example, how you can find aims and scope of a journal, just like how you are finding the details with regards to the editor. When you go to the journal web page and there's a particular tab probably as aims and scope. So just read the aims and scope, and then you have to first of all decide as to, all right, this particular aims and scope is matching with the with our paper. So if that is the case, you have to like put it in like when you're like doing the wording, be very careful as to how your manuscript is appropriate for the publication of the selected journal and how it actually matches with the aims and scope of the journal. Suppose that if it is a particular article which is one of the very contemporary topics nowadays is climate change, the climate accounting. So if that is the case, and if you're planning for a journal like Journal of Cleaner Production, since the aim and scope of the Journal of Cleaner Production is very much keen on like making the society more sustainable, there's a perfect match. So you have to understand this very carefully when you're specially selecting your journal. So you need to do this actually before you are like drafting your manuscript. So if you have already done with the drafting of the manuscript, you have to be like, I would recommend that based on the advices that I've got so far, I'm also an early career researcher. So based on the advices so far, I can recommend you that before drafting a manuscript, you have to like decide 2-3 journals that you can like submit your manuscript into, so that you know what are the aims and scope, whether the manuscript, the guidelines, the author guidelines are matching with. You can like, it's very easy. Otherwise, you would have so much of work to be done if it goes the other way around. If you are like planning on submitting the, if you are going to like decide what's going to be your journal based on the manuscript after you have drafted the full manuscript, then there would be a little problem. So if it is the, always that precaution is better than cure. So you have to like decide what's going to be your journal and then like draft your manuscript accordingly, so that it would be easy. So my point here is that be very specific as to how your manuscript is going to be matching with the aims and scope of the journal. Then you can mention, please explain in your own words the significance and novelty of the work, the problem that is being addressed, and why the manuscript belongs in this journal. Do not simply insert your abstract into your cover letter. Briefly describe the research you are reporting in your paper, why it is important, and why you think the readership of the journal would be interested in it. So this is more like the selling point of your paper. So why the journal should consider your paper for the publication in that particular journal. So what's the selling point? How your work is differentiated what's the novelty in your work. So this is a very important area, very strict area that especially the top rank journals would look into. What's the novelty of your work? Make sure that you are not copying and pasting the abstract. That's one of the errors that most of the earlier career researchers like us would do. So make sure that you are not doing it. So don't copy paste it, just like put some effort in when you're drafting the cover letter also, because it would be read by the editor of the particular journal. Then at the end, you can like mention that there are no conflicts of interest to disclose. Make sure that if there are like, if it is a collaborative paper where there are like 2 or more than 2 authors involved, there shouldn't be any conflicts of interest to disclose. And you can mention then, please address all correspondence concerning this manuscript to me at email address. So this email address should be the the corresponding author's email address you have to mention here, right? And thank you for your consideration of this manuscript. Sincerely, you can put your name as well as if you have your ORCID account details, you can mention that as well. So this is a simple cover letter draft that you can take use of when you're drafting your cover letter. But it is also important to mention that this is normally for, if it is going to be an original research article, this would be the cover letter. But if you're planning on like submitting more like a review article as such, you need to like specifically read the author guidelines in that particular journal as to whether there are any specific other requirements that you need to fulfill. For example, if it is a review article, especially looking at the Journal of Cleaner Production, the journal, we have to mention specific other specific details. For example, if it is going to be a critical review article, we have to give the author's details, especially referring to what are the other publications we have done with regards to the topic area that we are intending on publishing, as well as how our review paper is different from the rest of the review papers, if there are any already available in the literature. So we have to like do a sort of differentiation. So that is also there. So make sure that you have read the author guidelines before you do the submission, because even for drafting the cover letter based on the journal that you are selecting, there are certain specific requirements that you need to maintain. Right. So that's that's it for today. So I hope you have got a sort of understanding as to how you can draft a cover letter. So all the best, guys. Happy journal submissions.